Yo! Welcome to the show, BroMob. We're your hosts, Chad and Brian. Today is Wednesday, October 14th, and it's October, guys. It's spooky month. It's time for all the spooky things to happen. And, no.
What happened?
Oh, there's a bunch of bats attacking us.
I mean, Batman.
Crazy time.
Where's Gordon? Where's Commissioner? just a picture of Batman. Oh man, Chad, you said you have some surprises for me on the show. I was not expecting that.
Yeah, right off the bat,
you sir,
spook.
You're a smart one.
Getting out of here.
I mean, look, Simba, he likes to win, and he did some winning this week. That's what he did. Yes, he did.
Of course.
Yes, he did.
Yeah. Instantaneously after winning. You gotta say
I gotta drink this cup of win because that's what I do.
Yeah. You don't hear me bragging.
Yeah, well, you should, because that's what we do.
I'm a little more humble than you are. You know. Just I don't like to rub it in too much.
I like to not only rub it in, I like to smash it in with a cinder block. So
interesting.
That's what I'm about to do. Not only am I about to do that, but it was such a great week that it's pretty bright, and you know what that means.
New sunglasses. Is that a new pair?
Wins.
You're gonna stop it.
I'm ready for the pod today. Let me tell you. Let's go.
I'm gonna give you a couple of these.
What is the 5 fingers? Right in the face. What? Slap.
You're gonna need some ibuprofen after this episode because I'm about to lay it on you.
I need a lot of.
Yeah.
BroMob, we're just gonna get into it. I don't need to hear about Brian Golden anymore. It's week 6 streamers. We got our love, likes, and hates, and we got some big news this week from the NFL that we're going to dig right into. Brian, before we get into this, we got a bye week in week 6.
Yes, we do have a bye week, and it's a big week. We have 4 teams. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's how it works.
4
numbers: Chargers, Raiders, Saints, Seahawks. So your Russell Wilsons, your Drew Breeses, your Las Vegas Vaders, what do they call? Vagers, yeah. And the Chargers. Chargers. Don't play them. Don't do it.
All right.
Don't
Thank
do
you,
it.
Brian, for the sound effects as well.
Remember, we got to get
into this. Be sure to follow. What?
I was going to say we got to get these sound effects going. Like, each team has their own sound effect next week.
Interesting.
Don't miss.
You think I got like the soundboard that's like 400 buttons?
I feel like
this is possible.
I feel like we should have a soundboard with 400 buttons.
Interesting.
Is that not in the budget?
No.
Let's do it.
Not in the budget. It's the worst.
What's happening?
The worst is happening. Be sure to follow along after the show, BroMob, by following us on Twitter or Instagram at FF Bros Podcast, and check out our TikTok. What?
TikTok. Pickpocketed. We're about to TikTok the pickpock.
I've been pickpocketed. Check out our TikTok page at Fantasy Football Bros, and be sure to search the hashtag BroMob for all kinds of fun things out there. Check out our website, thefantasyfootballbros.com, for all kinds of news, articles, and so much more. Brian, without further ado, let's just get right into this show. God, I love Keanu. Huge news. Instantly. I'm going to talk about this one first. I mean, other than some other bad news, but the New York Jets have dropped. Released them. Nothing more. LeVeon Bell, after not being able to find a trade partner for him in what seemed to be like a day. Like, I think they reopened up the doors for trades for one day, and then it's like, we're done with them. When are they going to learn to get rid of Adam Gase? When's he getting released?
Well, I believe they tried to trade him, and the league just laughed basically. So I don't know. I don't understand why you would release him. They're 0-5. I
Terrible.
mean, what else do you need to see? He's bad. He's not good. It's not going to get any better this year.
Right.
So the only reason you're going to keep him is, do you think that he, for some reason, he can make things better? I just don't understand the whole point of keeping him. He is by far, in my opinion, the worst coach in the NFL.
Oh, it's terrible.
I think he's worse than the two guys that have been fired already.
I think he might be the worst coach in the last decade. I don't know how he has a coaching job. Like, it's ridiculous.
He's not good. I mean, we just watched Ryan Tannehill light up the Buffalo Bills, Chad. And I mean, Ryan Tannehill got good when he got away from Adam Gase.
Pretty much everyone did.
Yeah.
I mean, Devontae Parker got good. Minka Fitzpatrick got good. Ryan Tannehill, like you said, got good. Everybody got good.
Everybody get
good for a while there.
Getting.
They be getting. Speaking of bad news, Dallas quarterback Dak Prescott suffered a broken, hideous, terrible.
It was bad.
Scary. Very scary, broken ankle. Likely going to be out for the season. Had surgery almost instantaneously after the game. Huge news for the Dallas Cowboys and what's going to be happening there. And then also, I mean, Andy Dalton steps in. What's that do to their offense? What's this do for Dak Prescott's future with the team? Stephen Jones come out and said that he's still in their future plan. So that is what it is. But Brian, what's this do for the immediate? What's this do for the Dallas Cowboy offense, who I believe is the number one offense in the NFL right now?
Well, so I think it's tough. I think Andy Dalton is capable of putting the ball in the air and stretching the field. But however,
I hope he's a quarterback.
I quit. So screw it. No, I think this is a downgrade for guys like Amari Cooper, likely also CeeDee Lamb, probably slight downgrades. Dak is capable of doing things that Andy Dalton's not capable of doing. And so I do think that the team is going to still throw the ball. I just don't see that changing. I really do. I think that ultimately, hopefully more than anything, Chad, they have a recipe now to run the ball a little bit more with Zeke. We saw that in the game after Dak went down. Zeke got a little bit more involved. But look, Andy Dalton still pressed the ball down the field. He threw a deep out to Michael Gallup to kind of seal the game for a field goal. And so I think you're going to see the team try to be what they have been. They just won't be as efficient.
Yeah, I believe he had 111 yards passing in the game after coming in. So big there. Brian, back onto the QB news. 49ers QB Jimmy Garoppolo benched mid-game through the game against Miami for his poor play, and then Shanahan actually came out and said it was to kind of keep him healthy, because clearly he wasn't healthy enough to be playing in that game. He was terrible. He looked absolutely horrendous. However, the whole 49ers basically looked horrendous, other than Raheem Mostert, who once again is super efficient with his carries, but team looked garbage.
Yeah, Jimmy G's not ready.
No, he's not.
It was very clear he's not ready. That was a team he should have lit them up. He's just not ready. And so I picked Jimmy G as a streaming option last week. If he was healthy, I really liked him as a quarterback play against Miami. If I could do it over again, I'd do the same thing. That wasn't the matchups issue. That was the team putting Jimmy Garoppolo on the field when he was not ready.
Yep. Agreed. Dalvin Cook left the game mid-game as well with a groin injury. Pulled up, actually. It was a non-contact. Pulled up right before he got hit and tackle. and then wasn't able to return to the game. He came back out of the locker room, was still suited up, acted like he wanted to play, but then ultimately decided to stay on the sideline and not play. In his absence, Alexander Mattison looked great, super efficient, ran for over 100 yards rushing, and it's looking like Dalvin Cook is not going to be playing this coming week. So Alexander Mattison, big play for week 6. I'll actually be talking about him later on, but Brian, this is big news for Dalvin Cook managers out there. We said before the season started, Mattison was a must-cuff player for Cook because this is what happens. Cook comes up, he has a tendency to come up with some injuries from time to time and miss some games. And Mattison, from what we saw last year, he averaged 4.5 yards per carry. He was also the most explosive back. He had the most runs for over 20 yards last season in the league. So Alexander Mattison is going to be a great play coming up this week against Atlanta. I mean, it's going to be huge.
Yeah, so Dalvin Cook apparently went under or did an MRI today, and it looks like he avoided like a major injury. So kind of like the David Montgomery injury, should be a week or two. I would expect him back. Maybe he misses a game or two, but so don't pivot on Dalvin Cook. I mean, he's going to be a stud rest of season. Hopefully the team gives him enough rest, but in the meantime, Mattison, if you're a Dalvin Cook owner, there's zero reason that you should have not rostered Alexander Mattison, given the history of Dalvin Cook and having injuries.
Agreed. Continuing on with injuries, Keenan Allen with an injured back in the game, wide receiver for the Los Angeles Chargers. I'm all over the place. Injured back against New Orleans Saints there. Missed out on he was on his way to having a big fantasy game. And this really hurt not just that game, but what's to come. So luckily they have this bye week coming up, but we'll see what happens there in terms of them trying to bring him back, how long that'll take. We'll keep an eye on the news for you there, BroMob, but this not looking, I mean, injuries in general are bad, but back injuries to wide receivers who usually catch passes in the middle of the field, that could be something that lingers.
Yep.
And then finally, Brian, we don't have a bullet on this, but I'm going to talk about it anyway. Dwayne Haskins benched mid-game, looked terrible. They brought out Kyle Allen. Kyle Allen hurt. Alex Smith, comeback player of the year already in my eyes. He was actually able to throw an NFL pass after, I think they said it was something like 500 days of not throwing a pass. So incredible comeback for him. If Kyle Allen's healthy, they're saying he's the starter, but Alex Smith, I mean, personally, I believe he gives them the best chance at winning. But it's big news. It's good to see Alex Smith out there.
It's great to see him. It was exciting to see him come back on the field, especially I was on the Red Zone channel. They weren't even in the Red Zone. The Red Zone channel's like, we're going to stay with the game. So it was cool, especially the guy almost lost his leg, for God's sakes. So
yeah, they almost took it off.
So awesome. Super happy to see Alex Smith back on the field. Other notes, Chad, we do have a couple more injury notes I wanted to go through. Yep. If we can go through those really quick. So Christian McCaffrey, I'm a big Christian McCaffrey guy. He was my 101 this year, and I have him in a lot of leagues across the season this year. But looking to return, their team's testing him this week, and it looks like they're looking for an answer by tomorrow. And so if you're listening to this on Wednesday, we likely might already have CMC news breaking at that point. So just know that if CMC is healthy, I would say, Chad, and I don't know if I'm sure you agree, even an 85% CMC is a starting CMC for me.
Yes.
I don't think there's any scenario where you would bench CMC and play Mike Davis, right?
No, there's no way. I mean, we might be seeing a CMC who's only going to get like 15 touches, but I'll take a 15-touch CMC all day.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm with you that 100%. And then I want to read this next one because this is my guy. Yeah. Chase Claypool, wide receiver of the Pittsburgh Steelers. I talked about him in the offseason. He was getting a lot of attention in the offseason out there, just raising some eyebrows. He finally had his breakout game, and holy crap, man. Was this a breakout game?
It was.
I think I heard a stat, Chad, that today that the last person to have last wide receiver to have a 4 touchdown game in, I think either total or their rookie season, it went back to like Jerry Rice. So it's an amazing game. Chase Claypool, 4 touchdowns in the game this week. Obviously, it catapulted him. He had over 100 yards receiving when Deontay Johnson went down to injury. So, in a lot of leagues, Chad, Chase Claypool is available on your waiver wires for redraft. My question for you is Chase Claypool a one-week wonder, or is this a guy that you're trying to roster right now?
Well, it's weird because Deontay Johnson going down with injury clearly opened the gates for him. So I think it's really just a matter of how long is Deontay going to be gone.
Yep.
Because Claypool seems to be the third man up, sometimes even the fourth man up on that roster with James Washington there as well. So I'd keep an eye on Deontay and see how long he's going to be out for. But otherwise, I like Claypool to at least have some breakout games here and there. Not like this. But
well, no, you shouldn't expect 4 touchdowns a week. Like that's not going to happen again. However, I will say this: even you take the injury of Deontay Johnson out of the equation. Look, Chase Claypool was listed as a starter in this game. It was the first time he'd been listed as a starter this season. So clearly, the team sees something in him that they want to get him on the field. They want him to be a part of the game plan. If you're a starter, you've been written into the game plan as part of the overall approach. So, I think it's more than just the Deontay Johnson injury. I think team sees his talent and they realize that he needs to be more involved. The injury to Deontay Johnson helped tremendously. I think if that had not happened, you're probably not seeing a 4 touchdown game. And you're probably not seeing 100 yards or the majority of the targets go to him. However, it definitely helps. And I think it helps too with Ben Roethlisberger creating some rapport with him. I think he's rosterable rest of season. I think he's only owned in 8% of ESPN leagues right now. So I think he's likely my number 1 waiver claim unless Alexander Mattinson happens to be out there. Then I'm claiming Mattinson. But ultimately, Chase Claypool is somebody that I would spend some fab on.
Yeah, Madison's only in like something like 40% of rosters right now.
Yeah, I don't even know how that's possible. Yeah, so if Mattinson's available in your league, he's the number 1 claim, and he's the guy I'm spending 20% fab on him. Deontay Johnson, I'm probably spending an upwards of 15% fab. And if Mattinson's not there, he's probably my number 1 waiver claim this week.
You mean Claypool, not Johnson?
I'm sorry. Yes. Chase Claypool. Sorry.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay. And then just to kind of speed it up here, Brian, DJ Chark out with an ankle injury as well. Kind of big news there. We'll keep an eye on that, see what's kind of happening. But other than Chark on that team, Laviska Shenault really just showing that he can take over and be that wide receiver 1 for the team. He's a big dude, just like Claypool is. I mean, he's a beast. So I like Visca, even with Chark there. If he's out there, I'd be putting in claims on Laviska Shenault as well, just to roster him and keep him on your team, because I think at some point in time he could become like the 1B on this team with DJ Chark on the team as well. So, and then finally we got Sammy Watkins down with a hamstring injury as well. And Brian, this is likely a multiple week or a couple of week type of injury that's coming in. So I'm really feeling Mecole Hardman in the weeks that Sammy Watkins is going to be hurt. Personally, it's just last year he was one of the most efficient wide receivers in the league. He had, I think Pat Mahomes had the highest QBR in the league when passing it to Mecole Hardman. So this is a receiver that can really blow the roof off, and he can help the team a lot. And I think he can help your fantasy team a lot too. So a guy that if you're on the back end of the waivers, it's not a FOB system, but maybe you're in a waiver system. I would just be, if I'm the back end, I'll probably be adding him if I can.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, Brian, let's move on right into our love, like, and hate for the week.
Love, like, and hate.
Oh God. I don't know.
Oh,
Oh man, I don't know what I'm seeing. You should have played some bats. Put the bats on the screen when that stuff's going on.
it's the absolute best. All right, Brian. We're gonna get right into the QBs here, and a ghost on the screen. Terrifying.
Just right. Oh man, that's what half the league is doing this week. After I just went 4-1.
Pure ghosts.
Chad, real question for you is, that speaking of ghosts, what's the name of my fantasy football team?
Ghostbusters.
Yeah, that's right. Because I turn people. I'm out there busting up the ghosts, capturing them. A lot of ghosts in our league. Yeah, that guy right there. I know exactly who that looks like. It looks like the guy I played this week.
Oh my God, he joined in.
Wow, there you go. Hey, welcome.
Hey,
welcome.
Hey
guy.
there.
Hey there, guy.
How you doing?
All right, we're losing followers by the second.
Yep, losing them fast. Brian, let's get into the QBs. And right away, start it off with your love.
Love.
All right, okay. All right, you shut your butts. Here's the guy I love, Kirk Cousins. I really like him. I don't like him so much that I love him. I love him this week. Playing Atlanta Falcons, and what I really like, Chad, is the Falcons are like, I don't know if you've heard, but they're terrible. They're absolutely terrible.
Mm-hmm.
Giving up a passer rating of 118 to opposing quarterbacks, averaging 345 yards through the air and 3 touchdowns to opposing quarterbacks, and a 34 point per game average in fantasy points. Love me some Kirk Cousins this week. Get him in your lineup.
Like.
I can't handle it, man. Jared Goff, Garfield himself. Here's the deal. This is a defense. They're playing the San Francisco 49ers. It's a divisional game. I really like divisional games for a lot of the pressure and the animosity that comes along with them, especially these two teams that kind of hate each other. So I see a little bit of a slugfest going to happen here. This is a defense that just gave up 350 yards and 3 touchdowns to Ryan Fitzpatrick. So I like Jared Goff this week. Give me some Garfield.
Hate.
All right, and my hate this week is one Teddith Bridgewatereth, a.k.a. Teddy Bridgewater. What an a.k.a. of that? That's his real name. Playing the Bears, enough said. They've allowed only 4 touchdowns on the season to opposing quarterbacks. That's right. That is on this season, 4 touchdowns. A average 77 passer rating to opposing quarterbacks, only 243 yards per game they're averaging. And also, Chad, they have not yet allowed one quarterback to throw for 20 fantasy points. So, not like Teddy this week. Not like him at all.
Yeah, it's not going to be Teddy.
Yeah, Teddy out.
Teddy no good.
Teddy no goo-goo.
All right, Brian, I'm going to get right into mine here. What am I doing? Getting into it.
Love.
My love for the week is a guy who has been an absolute beast. And look, it's like an obvious, right? Look at my hair. It's terrible. Absolutely all over the place with my hair right now. Josh Allen against the Kansas City Chiefs. This is going to be an absolute throw, bomb, baster, explosion, extravaganza. What? Josh Allen is going to be fighting Pat Mahomes, maybe fist fighting. I don't know. But he's definitely going to be fighting through the air to see who's going to get this win, because the Kansas City Chiefs are going to be angry. They just lost against the Vegas, like Brian likes to call them, the Vegas Raiders, for everybody who doesn't know. And they're going to be throwing it like crazy. That means that Josh Allen's going to be throwing it like crazy because they just came off a loss of their own. I like him this week a lot. Actually, I love him. I don't like him at all. What? I shouldn't say that.
I love you, man. I think we should get an apartment together.
All right. I like Matthew Stafford against the Jacksonville Jaguars. Look, he's he hasn't been the Stafford that we've been looking for this year. But against Jacksonville, I expect that. He's got Kenny Golladay back. We're talking like a healthy Golladay, weeks and weeks and weeks of being on the field playing. Now he should be at full health, 100%, smooth jazz coming your way. And Matt Stafford's going to be hearing it all over the field. He's going to be going right after that jazz. It's going to be a good time. So I like Stafford against Jacksonville a lot, really.
Hate.
And then finally, I hate Carson Wentz against Baltimore. Do I need to say more? I mean, Carson Wentz is throwing to guys whose last name is Fulgham. I've never even heard of the dude in my life. Going off this past week. And now he's going against Baltimore, one of the best defenses in the league. I ain't touching him with a 10-foot stick, or in some circumstances in Halloween, a broomstick. Like, sometimes witches have. So yeah, exactly. Oh
man.
All right, let's get into the running backs, Brian. Who you love?
You know what I love? I love BroTober, aka BroTober.
Oh yeah,
BroTober. That's what we're doing. Rest of month, Chad. BroTober. Hashtag BroTober. BroTober. All right. So love. Here we go. What are we doing? Running backs? Yeah, good call. Love David Montgomery this week. Here's the deal. What I really like, I guess, or love the most here, and it's kind of dirty. Like, he kind of feels like he's going to let me down. But this is like the number one defense, or the worst defense against running backs this year. David Montgomery against the Carolina Panthers. They're giving up over 112 yards per game, an average of nearly 2 touchdowns per game, and averaging 26 fantasy points to opposing running backs this season. David Montgomery's the guy back there. There's really nobody else. This is a team that doesn't just want to run the ball. They need to run the ball. They just need to kind of use that to set things up. I saw some glimmer of hope last week when he faced the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and actually had a serviceable game against a really tough run D. This week, he draws a much more favorable matchup. And also check his schedule, because the matchups rest of season look mighty good. So why did I do that? David Montgomery, love me some Monty. Get him in there this week.
Like
Raheem Mostert. Okay. 49ers running back playing the Las Vegas Rams. I almost said the Raiders. So the Rams.
Rams?
Yeah, Los Angeles, Las Vegas. The Las Vegas Rams. Los Angeles Rams. Oh man, I can't. This pumpkin up here has got me confused. He's just
he's right at your face,
just looking right at me. Raheem Mostert. Oh my God, LA Rams. Just play him. Just trust me on this. All right, I don't know what I'm talking about. 4.5 yards per carry. There's really no other. They haven't really faced any other team against running backs that have been worth a crap the last 3 games. So I think Mostert actually has a pretty good game against a what looks like statistically a decent rushing defense, but really probably isn't.
Hate
for the second week in a row, and I'm sorry, I really am. Listen. I'm talking to you out there. You know who you are. You're the guy that has Joe Mixon. You're a big Joe Mixon fan. And I get it. I love Mixon rest of season. But these 2 matchups, I told you last week against the Baltimore Ravens, I'm not starting guys against this Ravens defense. And I hope you listened, because Mixon, he looking no good. Okay? And this week, he going to look no good also. All right? Playing... Don't know why I'm talking like this, man. Joe Mixon against the Indianapolis Colts is a team that's only allowing 73 yards per game to opposing running backs, 30 yards in the air to running backs for receptions. They have allowed, let me say this slowly, 2 touchdowns total on the year to opposing running backs, 3.7 yards per carry. I'm not playing Joe Mixon this week either.
Yeah, I do not like that
No,
at
no,
all.
no.
All right, Brian, let's talk about my loves
Love.
/ singular love. Alexander Madison, we just talked about him. He's playing against Atlanta. Look, you keep with the whole vibe for BroTober. Alexander Madison is like a vampire. He's a fantasy vampire out there. He's like, blah, blah, I want to score some points. Hate
Blah,
everything.
give me those points. Blah.
First.
Blah.
Blah. Love Alexander Madison. If you have him on your roster, you need to get him in your starting lineup because he's going to have himself a monster week against
That's
Atlanta.
right.
They're garbage all around. Just fired their head coach, as they should have weeks ago. But he's a good play. I love him.
Like.
I really like Myles Gaskin against the New York Jets. Look, even if Jordan Howard comes back, I like him. He has been the running back for this team for the entire season. I don't care what anybody says. He has been the guy. And this past week, he looked good. And against the Jets, pretty much everybody looks good. So I like Myles Gaskin. I think they're going to rely on him to really rush the ball like crazy against this team and keep the team rolling and doling and scolling. And what am I saying right now? I like him a lot. Let's just leave it at that.
Hate.
And then finally, I hate Mark Ingram against Philadelphia. Look, Philadelphia's got its issues, and Mark Ingram has been an absolute ghost in terms of fantasy production. Oh, here he is right here. Mark Ingram in front of my face. Hey, Mark Ingram, listen here. I need you to step it up, okay? I got you on my bench, couple leagues, and you're taking up a roster spot with that bench spot. I need you to step it up. The team in general needs to figure it out against Baltimore. Baltimore needs to figure it out, okay? I'm in your face right now. Figure it out, Mark Ingram, because I hate you this week. I'm not playing you in any league that I got you. So I'm going to move it on. Stop showing this ghost. He's gone. Mark Ingram's gone. I scared him away. All right, Brian, I'm coming back to you for your wide receiver love, likes, and hates.
That's right. And here we go. All right.
Love.
Mark. What? That's not who I'm going for. Wide receivers, Adam Thielen. Love me some Adam Thielen this week, man. I'm feeling him. Let me tell you a little something. I'm feeling him. Adam Thielen going against the Atlanta Falcons. 216 yards per game. They're averaging they've allowed 4 touchdowns. 14 receptions per game. Adam Thielen is like the PPR king, bada bing. Get Adam Thielen in your lineup. He's going to catch a lot of balls this week for you. Trust me.
Like.
That's right. Here we go. I'm going to like a guy now. And his name is Calvin Ridley. Ridley's Believe It or Not, I like him. Playing the Minnesota Vikings, averaging 193 yards per game to opposing wide receivers. They've allowed 9 total touchdowns on the season. This Minnesota secondary is not all that great. I'm trying to find that out. Calvin Ridley, no Julio Jones. I like me some Rids. Get him in there.
Hate.
Hate me some Robbie Anderson. Let me tell you why, Chad. Well, he's playing the Bears. That's basically it. Bears are only averaging 157 yards per game. 1 total touchdown. That's right. Not per game, total on the season that the Bears have given up to the wide receiver position. And that is to one Mike Evans. Riddle me this. Is Mike Evans better than, what? My brain. Is Robbie Anderson better than Mike Evans? No, that's the answer to that. And the answer to Robbie Anderson this week, also no.
You
dig? Yeah.
You dig. You hit me with. All right. All right. Let me talk about my guys here real quick, Brian. Let's start off with my love.
Love.
DeAndre Hopkins is my dub pick this week. He's going against Dallas. I think he's the number 1 wide receiver for fantasy in week 6, going against just the absolute horrendous Dallas defense that can't do anything worth anything. So DeAndre Hopkins against them, I love. I'm also give you a secondary love just because this one's so obvious. I'm going to go Devontae Parker, sticking with this New York Jets Miami game. Devontae Parker has silently put together a decent season. I mean, he's had 4 weeks of double-digit points. 4 weeks. So, I mean, he's quietly putting together these sneaky good games, and he could come out and have an explosive game this week against New York Jets, and I like the Parker against them. What? Jamison Crowder is my like for the week. I like him a lot.
Like.
Jamison Crowder, I jumped ahead of it. I got too excited about how much I like this guy. Going against Miami, I got a lot of picks for this New York Jets-Miami game. I think this is going to be a shootout out of its mind, and it's just going to be a poor defensive effort on both ends. So Jamison Crowder showed some rapport with Joe Flacco there. So I think that continues. He's the only guy to throw to on that team. So Jamison Crowder looking good.
Hate.
And then finally, the guy that I hate, rookie wide receiver Jerry Jeudy for the Denver Broncos, going against New England. He's going to get the Gilmore treatment, the Stephon Gilmore treatment all over him. And I just don't want a rookie against Stephon Gilmore in any format at all. So Jerry Jeudy, I like him throughout the season because Drew Lock's coming back pretty soon. And Jerry Jeudy is going to be the wide receiver 1 for that team for him to pass to. So I like that a lot, but I don't like him against New England this week. Brian, let's get into our tight ends for the week. Start it off.
Love.
Well, hi. Love me some Mark Andrews this week. Let me tell you why. He's playing the Eagles, and the Eagles, they're giving up a lot of points to that tight end position this year. 64 yards per game is what the old Eagles are giving up to the old tight ends. What? Total of 5 touchdowns the Eagles have given up this year on the season, and I think Andrews is in line for a good dose of targets this week. They're averaging 6 receptions per game against the tight end position. Andrews is, he's making a push to be, for an argument of tight end 1 this year. He's having a great year. Like Andrews a lot this week, especially against this Eagles defense. Get him in your lineup for sure if you don't already. He should be a lock, basically.
Like.
Really like a guy that I talked about last week a little bit, but I really like Evan Ingram this week. Again, playing the Washington Redskins, this is a defense that's giving up nearly 70 yards per game to the tight end position, 5.4 receptions per game, so nearly 5.5 receptions per game, and also 5 touchdowns to the tight end position on the season. So Evan Ingram nearly had 2 touchdowns last week. He had an amazing catch against the Cowboys that was called back, and then he also ran one in. So Ingram, I think, is going to have another week of targets and success. I like him against Washington this week. The matchup's favorable. Get him in your lineup.
Hate.
And the last guy here on this list, Tyler Higbee, playing the 49ers this week. And I'm just not a fan. They're barely giving up 40 yards per game, 0.8 yards per game on the dot. Only 1 touchdown on the season to a tight end. I just don't see it being Higbee this week. There's a lot of options there, oddly, now, too. So Higbee off to a hot start this year, but so far the last week or so, not so much. So against the Niners, don't like the matchup. Not a big fan of Higbee this week.
All right, Brian. I'm going to move into mine real quick here.
Love.
Starting off with Dalton Schultz, tight end for the Cowboys, going against Arizona. Look, if he plays, if he's healthy, I like what I'm seeing there against Arizona, who's just they can't go to tight end. So I love Dalton Schultz. I think Andy Dalton's going to be trying to learn the playbook a little bit during this game, and who better to dump it off to than the tight end for any offense. So I like what I see there. I like the opportunity with a new quarterback. If you need desperate help, maybe you have Tyler Higbee and you don't like the matchup at all, Dalton Schultz, I think, is a good plug and play for your team.
Like.
I also like TJ Hawkinson against Jacksonville this week. Look, before the bye, Hawkinson was putting up some really favorable stats. He was getting up 8 points, 9 points, double-digit points. I like the consistency. I like what's going on there. Kenny Golladay pulls away the safety presence there in the end zone, and Hawkinson can get some targets, some looks in that end zone. So I like what I'm seeing there. Jacksonville's defense isn't the best in the world, so it could get a touchdown in this game, and I like the possibilities of that.
Hate.
And then finally, Robert Tonyan of the Green Bay Packers. Look, he's going against Tampa Bay, and this just seems like one of those trap tight ends, right? I mean, a tight end who just exploded for some big points back-to-back weeks, and the Packers kind of do this. They have weeks where a tight end is heavily used in the offense, but here's the thing. Devontae Parker has been out for those games. Devontae Adams, crazy, Chad. Devontae Adams has been out for those games, and look, he's coming back. So Devontae Adams coming back in the mix. Aaron Jones, of course, being alive and amazing in this offense. I don't think there's enough mouths to feed in the end zone. I like Devontae Adams getting touchdowns. I don't like Robert Tonyan getting touchdowns, and without touchdowns, his fantasy value is to me. So, not liking it very much. Don't play him, BroMob. Brian, that is it for our love, like, and hates. Let's move into our ever so scary, ever so spooky streamers for the week.
This week's streamers.
All right, Brian.
No comment. I want BroMob to know that I had no input in any of this, so it's not me.
A lot of fun
Yeah, clearly. All right, Chad. I'll get us started at the quarterback position this week. I'm gonna roll Baker Mayfield out there. He's playing the Pittsburgh Steelers. Steelers defense is allowing 273 yards and 2 touchdowns to opposing quarterbacks this year, and it's actually pretty consistent. It's like 2 touchdowns every single week so far. So Baker tends to shine in moments like this. I think the matchup is pretty favorable. That, again, for a streamer, we're looking for roughly about 250 yards passing and 2 touchdowns. It just so happens to be what the Steelers are averaging roughly. So Baker Mayfield, widely available out there in ESPN leagues. Go grab him if you can for a streamer. And then at the defensive position, Chad, I'm going to roll with the Miami Dolphins. They're playing the New York Jets, who just released their best offensive weapon, Chad, in LeVeon Bell. So, I like the Dolphins this week. They are available in pretty much every league, only 1.7% rostered in ESPN leagues this year. And what I really like is this. The Jets offense is allowing 3 sacks per game on average, nearly 1 interception per game, and the offense has only put up more than 20 points one time this season. That was 2 weeks ago against the Broncos on a Thursday night football game. That was just a mess. And so other than that, it's been 10 points, 7 points, 13, and 17. I like the Dolphins this week.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of this game in general. So I'm going to stick with it. For my quarterback, I like Ryan Fitzpatrick against the Jets. Look, he's only rostered in 19.9% of leagues, and Fitzpatrick's been whipping up some Fitz magic out there. I know it's an overused phrase, but he's been doing it, okay? He's been looking good. I like what he's got in his receivers with Devontae Parker, with Preston Williams, with Mike Gesicki at tight end. I like the use of Myles Gaskin there in the passing game as well. I think he's a really good fit for this offense for this year. So I'm a big fan of Fitzpatrick against an absolutely trash New York Jets team. Pick him up if you really need the help. And then finally, my defensive stream of the week, the Washington football team against the New York Giants. Daniel Jones, Brian, has thrown 2 touchdown passes all season.
Yep.
Let me repeat that. Daniel Jones has thrown 2 touchdown passes all season. I don't want it. I don't want any part of that. So Washington football team, I think they have a good pass rush. They have a good defensive line. And I see some sacks coming in this game. So maybe even a turnover or 2. So I've 6.8% rostered out there. So they're available. And no one's probably picking them up because they know they've been trash. But, I mean, we've seen what they can do against a poor offensive line in Philadelphia. This is a poor offensive line in New York. I see some sacks coming their way. So I like this matchup a lot with Washington and New York.
Yeah, they're a matchup. They're a matchup, Chad, that I really had them on my radar this week coming up. As a matter of fact, they were going to be my stream, and I saw you had them already. So it kind of I had to pivot to the Dolphins, but I really like this this Washington team. They are 6th in the league defensively in sacks against the quarterback specifically. So yeah, you're definitely going against the matchup is really juicy for this defense. So BroMob, if the Redskins are out there, it's a defense you should definitely be trying to grab this week as probably your best streaming option available.
Yep. Yeah, agreed. All right, BroMob, that's going to be it for this week's show. Be sure to tune in every Wednesday to stay up to date on the fantasy football world and to gather any insights on how to dominate your fantasy football leagues.
Absolutely. And BroMob, if you're listening and we get a lot of questions on social media every week, so we can't get to all of them. We apologize for that. However, the area that we tend to hone in on the most is jointhebromob.com. You can ask all kinds of questions there. We guarantee a response. We guarantee one-on-one advice and guidance on your roster. So head over to jointhebromob.com for literally $2. You can get all kinds of great advice. We appreciate the support. Thank you for all the people that already support us. And head over to jointhebromob.com. Become an official BroMobster today.
If you're listening to us on Apple Podcasts, don't forget to subscribe so that you know every individual episode that drops. You're the first one to listen to it, out your friend groups, out your families, all that stuff, so that you're on top of the competition. If you're not watching us on YouTube, you need to be, because you'd be seeing silly little things like this. Go the bats. The worst. It's spooky ghost and everything like that. There's a whole bunch of things going on. So get over to YouTube. It's a fun time. The ghost is still staring at me, Brian. I don't think it wants to leave.
He is the show.
The ghost is right there. Follow us on Twitter. Oh, he's gone now. Okay. Bye, ghost.
That's the fantasy foot booze.
I hated it.
No,
I hated everything about it.
Thought I had it.
Worst.
Thought I had it.
You're the worst. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram at FF Bros Podcast, and be sure to check out our website, thefantasyfootballbros.com, for all kinds of news, articles, and so much more. We will see you next week, BroMob.